Another brilliant game of football in the Premier League. My oh my, a game of two halves. I think we can all agree that Manchester United by far had the better start in this game. They took Spurs the cleaners off off the start. Like Spurs, we know they've been slow starting matches. We know this, but surely, new manager for the third time this season now. You've brought Ryan Mason in. You've got to start playing football. You've got to start coming to the show earlier. Because let's be real, if Man United had anything about them, they could have cleaned this game up early, very early in the football match, but they didn't. They didn't, and Spurs came back in the second half, and they found a way back into the game, and ultimately got a point. I don't think Spurs making top four. Spurs might not even make Europe this season, but it's a point to build off. But it's very reminiscent of Spurs this whole season. They've been a really good second half team, but they just haven't started games quick enough, and that's been their downfall. Again today, if Man United, like I said, if they had anything about them, if they really finished Spurs off, this game would have been over. This is the difference, right? And it's a drop-off from Manchester City to Arsenal, Man United. And yes, Arsenal fans, I'm an Arsenal fan myself, but I'm grouping Arsenal alongside Manchester United right now, yeah? Man City, they kill games off at 3-0 and then they take their foot off the gas. Arsenal, Manchester United take our foot off the gas at 2-0. You can't do that. Not against any Premier League team. You'll get found out. For example, Arsenal got found out against West Ham and Liverpool. Took our foot off the gas at 2-0, and then they came back into the game. Manchester United took their foot off the gas at 2-0 against Sevilla at home and against Tottenham today. And guess what happens? They've drawn both matches. Arsenal, Manchester United, kill games off, bro. Where's your killer instinct? That's what you got to bring into that squad. Because that's the difference. Man City, we know they're a better team than Arsenal and United. But Man City, they stopped playing football at 3-0. Leicester City had a chance to get back in that game, but Man City stopped at 3-0. So Leicester brought it back to 3-1, but they didn't have enough in the tank to bring it back to 3-3. It was too much of a mountain to climb. If it was 2-0 and Leicester brought it back to 2-1, they could have got something from that football match. Who knows? I mean, Maddison's got 1-1, Ian Nacho's got a brilliant chance, etc. But the game was done at 3-0. Same with Arsenal against Man City yesterday. Man City 3-0, then they take their foot off the gas. Rapodin scores a goal, but by then it's too little, too late. Not enough time to get anything from the match. Arsenal, Man United are not good enough. We stopped playing football at 2-0. Manchester United, you're not a good enough team to stop playing and shut up shop at 2-0. Go for that third goal. Where's that killer instinct? Where's that foot on the neck to kill teams off? Assassin mentality. You need to show that. That's how you take that next step as a football club, because Spurs were dead and buried. Spurs were dead and buried that first half. You had them. You had them by the throat. I was watching beautiful, slick football from Manchester United, man. They were doing the little things right. The extra passes, getting the ball out wide to Anthony and Sancho. Then when they would get double teams, play instantly inside and switch over to the other side of play, quickly transitioning from the left-hand side of the pitch to right-hand side of the pitch. Everything was golden and mustard in that first half of Manchester United, but you didn't keep it going. You didn't keep it going. You should have kept your foot on the gas. Get that third goal, because the third goal is always a killer. Then you kill it off. Then by then you can take your foot off the gas, etc. But they didn't, and they let Spurs back into the game. I appreciate you tuning into the stream, Tommy. Everton going down. I watched that game and the last bit of this game. Yeah, Everton got thumped by Newcastle. My prediction for Everton to stay up is looking less and less likely each and every week. I just need Everton to get a result against Man City, really. I thought their home form would save them, but clearly not, man. Looks like my team Cardiff is staying up. We won at relegation 6 points. Big up Cardiff, man. Big up Cardiff and Wales. Nice kit, bro. I appreciate it. The GOAT, Messi. I watched mainly Newcastle, Everton, then a bit of Spurs United at the end. Spurs United was a really good game, genuinely. Second half, it was a really good contest. The first half was all Manchester United, genuinely. All United. I tweeted out, by the way, check out my Twitter, anyone that hasn't already. It's in the description. Because I tweet during the matches, so you want to hear my thoughts throughout them. United came to play football, and Spurs, once again, were just not at the races whatsoever in that first half. Whatsoever. Like, they did not come to play football at all. Once again, passive. No bites, no fight. United will win every 50-50, every second battle. And I like this United team with Fernandes and Eriksen in the same team because it gives them two outballs. Everything I want Odegaard to do in the big matches like yesterday, Fernandes was exhibiting in that first half. Odegaard yesterday would get the ball and he'd pass backwards. Short passes to Partey, Ben White, etc. When Fernandes got the ball, his first thought was, am I going to find that killer pass to Rashford? And yeah, it doesn't come off every time, but I like that. I like players that take risks. I mean, anyone that hasn't watched the Man United game yet, go on YouTube after this stream and watch the highlight for the second Manchester United goal. That was a beautiful goal. Beautiful goal. Spurs have a chance. I think it's Perisic. Fluffs his line, basically. And within two passes, United from defense to attack. It's actually mustard stuff. The ball goes up to Fernandes, yeah? He takes a touch, and then he plays that killer ball. It's criminal from Tottenham to isolate Harry Kane with Eric Dyer. Then, sorry, not Harry Kane. Marcus Rashford with Eric Dyer. Rashford takes him to the cleaners, and a left-footed smart finish across goal. It's a brilliant goal. Genuinely, that second Manchester United goal was a work of art. The counter-attacking stuff. Fernandes with the killer pass. And Rashford showing his clinicality. That's what United are so good at, man. They can play that killer football. They can play that final pass to get the goals, but they need to do more of it. And they should have genuinely killed this football game. They had a chance, even at 2-1 when Spurs pulled one back from Pedro. Fernandes should have iced the game. Should have iced it. He goes through, he dinks the goalkeeper, and then Aaron Wan-Bissaka tries to head into the back of net. You got to ice the game then, because if he goes 3-1, the game's over again. But they don't. They don't. And look, that's the difference between Manchester United, Arsenal, and then the step up to Man City. That is the difference. Being able to kill games off. Because that's what bites you in the arse, man. Arsenal, yesterday, bottled the league, in my opinion. But they didn't bottle the league yesterday. They bottled the league against West Ham and Southampton. They just messed up their chance yesterday to recover it. And that's the difference. If Manchester United sign the top players, the top strikers, man. If Manchester United sign a proper goalkeeper, in my opinion, they're fighting for the title. They're fighting for the title. But they need a killer instincts. Man United will still get top 4, not a disaster. Yeah, indeed. It's not a disaster whatsoever, man. Man United 100% are getting top 4. And for me, I was saying it during the game as well. Arsenal, Man City, Manchester United, and Newcastle, for all the inconsistencies we've seen in the Premier League from teams this season, those 4 have by far been the 4 best teams in the league and deserve the top 4. So I think the top 4 battle isn't even it's not a battle this year. Like it's set in stone who's getting top 4. It's going to be those 4 teams, and deservedly so. I think the teams underneath them, the likes of the Liverpools, the Tottenhams, Chelsea, obviously, have had a real bad fall off. But those 4, Man United, Newcastle, Man City, Arsenal, deservedly get top 4. All those 4 have been the most consistent and the best sides this season. Let's be real about it. So yeah, they're still getting top 4. It's not a disaster whatsoever. I'm just looking at it as points to improve on for Manchester United, because I saw the same thing against Sevilla. The same exact thing. Now, I know Sevilla came back in the last 10 minutes, but the whole first half, United had their foot on Tottenham's neck. They ran more, they passed more, they shot more, they fought more. Everything was better from United, winning every 50-50 pass. But in that second half, they weren't at the races. They took their foot off the gas. They got complacent, and you can't do that. You do that at 3-0, not 2-0. Why teams in the Premier League feel like it's okay to give up matches at 2-0 and just sit back is beyond me. Arsenal did the same thing against Liverpool and West Ham. At 2-0, you take your foot off the gas and think the game's over. No. How complacent do you have to be? Even Man City, the best team in England, don't do that. Even Man City get their 3rd goal and then take their foot off the gas. But no, that's the difference, man. So Manchester United, Arsenal, teams like that want to reach Man City's level. You've got to make sure you kill teams off, then you take your foot off the gas. Get that 3rd goal, then take your foot off the gas. And if it goes back to 2-1, you've got to find that 3rd goal to ice the game. You have to. And United didn't do that, man. United didn't do that. The ref was shocking the Cardiff game. Officiating in this country is not good. The officiating is terrible, man, across all leagues. All leagues. They need to start bringing in foreign referees, man. Everton won the front foot first 30 minutes, but without really threatening. Then Newcastle scored, still uncertain until Newcastle's 2nd goal at 72 minutes. Well, there we go. Newcastle iced the game off. That's the main thing they did, man. And 1-0 away from home is always a dangerous scoreline. 2-0 equally is a dangerous scoreline, as we saw today. 3-0 is when it really it's over. And Newcastle did a good job, man. Newcastle, I can trust them because they've shown they can defend properly. They can defend 1-0 leads. They can defend 0-0s. Newcastle have proven that. Manchester United haven't proven that they can hold on to leads. They haven't. And their away form going into this hasn't been great against the big teams. Now, I know Tottenham not necessarily a big team because they haven't showed it this season. But they go to Arsenal, they lose. They've gone to Man City, they've lost. They've gone to Newcastle the other week and lost. So in the big matches, even Sevilla, they lost. Man United have not been good. So why I think it's okay to give up at 2-0 is beyond me. Genuinely is criminal. Because if that game, if at 2-0 at half-time, there was only one winner in that football match. Genuinely. That whole first half was dominated by Manchester United. There was boos ringing around at half-time. And it should have only gone one way. But if you give teams life, they will find a way. They will find a way. And so for me, big up Tottenham Hotspur for getting back into the match. Credit to them for doing that. But you got to look at it from Man United point of view and go, the game was in your grasp. The game was in your hands and you threw it away. Criminal, man. Man United had the audacity to call Arsenal bottle jobs against Liverpool, whereas they bottle a lead against Managerial Spurs. We can't talk because we bottled the league, then how can you? Sorry, that's banter. Yes, look, this is the thing, yeah. Man United fans, Arsenal fans talking to each other about bottling. We're both as bad as each other, genuinely. Arsenal give up 2-0 leads to West Ham and Liverpool, right? Man United do the same thing to Sevilla and Tottenham. Case in point, don't give up at 2-0. Like, what football team thinks that's okay? So, yeah, Man United fans want to call us bottle jobs. Go ahead, man. I don't really care, to be honest, if they want to call us bottle jobs. They're doing the same thing. The fact of the matter is you don't stop playing at 2-0. You get that 3rd goal and then you stop. Because if a team gets 1 goal back from 2-0 and makes it 2-1, there's a very dangerous game of football. Now, you can win a 2-0 game sitting off and everyone goes, oh, what a brilliant away day performance, just like we did against Tottenham, for example. But I promise you this, guys, yeah, when Arsenal played Tottenham in January, I believe, at White Hart Lane or at the Tottenham Stadium. We went 2-0 up. If Tottenham got a goal back, we're not winning in that game. I promise you that. Because you can't concede a goal to a home team and give them momentum. Because in the Premier League, every team with momentum, their attributes just get times 10 their attributes. So you got to make sure you get that third goal. Or if you go to 2-1, you got to make sure you make it 3-1 and ice the game. That's what you need to do, man. And Man United, they had a chance with Fernandes, then Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but they didn't take it. Tottenham needed to win, but probably thought top four was gone anyway. Top four is gone for Tottenham, to be fair. They just need to win to bring their confidence back. That's the main thing. Look, is Ryan Mason the manager for Tottenham? No, he's not. So I don't get why they keep persisting with Stellini and now Ryan Mason. You need to bring in a proper manager if you're Tottenham, man. And a proper project manager, like a young gaffer, give him time. So they just need to win for their confidence, to be fair. But yeah, like in the grand scheme of things, neither side, to be fair, like, it's not doomsday if they lost the game or won the game or drew the game. United are going to get top four regardless. It's whether they get third or fourth, really. That's a question for me. And Tottenham aren't getting top four. Tottenham might miss out on Europe. And genuinely, if Tottenham miss out on Europe, like Conference League as well as Europa League, that would be a good thing for them. Genuinely, I think it will be. Give them more time on the training pitch to recover, etc. So that's what I would do, man. If I was Tottenham, I wouldn't worry about Europa League, Conference League. Genuinely, give the new manager some more time on the training field. That's what I would say. How many times do you have to deal with grief? Imagine if Arsenal drew 2-2 to the Spurs side. My hatred multiplies by 1,000 every week. Genuinely, if Spurs brought it back to 2-1, we would have drawn or lost that game. I promise you that. Because football's a crazy, crazy thing, man. You can't rest on your laurels on football. You got to make sure you keep your foot on that gas. Because the moment you show a little bit of weakness, teams will capitalize. Genuinely. And you give them a little bit of life and they'll capitalize. If you didn't watch that first half, you would have thought Tottenham played amazing in this game. This was, as a title of this video, a game of two halves. Game of two halves. The first half, they were crap, Tottenham. Crap, man. Genuinely. It was like I was watching a championship side. I was tweeting out that they were playing long ball. Spurs' game plan was play 5 at the back and long ball it up to Kane and then have knockdowns to Richarlison and Son. That was their game plan. And, bro, like, you don't see that Premier League teams do that, man. Like, teams like Middlesbrough and Championship play better football than that. So I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, it has to turn around. And second half, Hotspur turn up again, but it's not enough. Like, you got to play from minute one, man. And why they persist with 5 at the back is beyond me. Like, you're Tottenham Hotspur. You should be playing a bit more front foot attacking football, in my opinion. Big up, Dennis. Big up, True Gunner, for tuning to the stream as always, my friend. Appreciate you joining in. From the media. Yeah, look, everyone seems to think the media has an agenda against every club. It's the media, man. They're there to stir. They're there to stir. Just like they do to Arsenal, they'll do it to Man United, like they'll do to Tottenham, Liverpool, City, etc. That's the media's job, man. Media's job. Newcastle's third came 3 minutes after their second goal. Everton made it 3-1, but Newcastle got its fourth within a minute. See, exactly. Newcastle found that third goal to kill the game. Because at 2-0, the game's still not over, but they found that third goal. Manchester United, where was that third goal? Where was that game that was going to kill it? But they didn't. They didn't find that final goal. And look, that's what happens, man. Like I said, this game doesn't impact Man United's season. It's still been a brilliant season for them under Erik ten Hag. And I still believe they're finishing top 4. And I still think they're going to win the FA Cup, personally. I think they're the team that's going to stop Man City doing the treble. But it's little things, man. Like, it's little improvement points they need to pick up on. Is it the fact they don't have a proper striker? Who knows? But United need to stop stopping games at 2-0. They need to kill games off at 3-0 and end it. Ice the football match. But they haven't showed that. They haven't showed the class or the quality to finish teams off. Because I genuinely think Manchester United are a really good side. I've said this before. Throughout this whole season, I've reiterated. Man United are a really good team. Like, I think Man United are closer to Arsenal than Arsenal are to Man City. And that comes from an Arsenal fan. Arsenal fans, feel free to violate me in the live chat. But genuinely, I think Manchester United are closer to Arsenal than Arsenal are to Man City. Because United are good, bro. Trust me. Like, the football they play is decent. Like, their spine's solid. I think the goalkeeper needs to go, in my opinion. But obviously, they didn't have their 2 centre-backs today. But it didn't cost them. Like, Luke Shaw did a brilliant performance in there. Lindelof was good as well. When Arsenal missed Saliba, we're at 6s and 7s. We've got Rob Holding at the back. United got a little bit more depth than us, I think. Casemiro, obviously, he's a rock. He's fallen off recently, but genuinely, his performances are pretty good on the most part. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes. This brother's got the killer pass in his locker, man. Odegaard, I love Odegaard to bits. Genuinely, I do, man. I think he's a brilliant player. But Odegaard's a bully against the smaller teams, yeah? When we play Southampton and teams like that at home, he'll bully, he'll put passes together. In the big games away from home, yeah, Odegaard goes missing. Fact, he goes missing, yeah? Bruno Fernandes doesn't. He doesn't. Bruno Fernandes will pick up the ball, yeah? He'll turn and he'll play a killer pass. And yeah, 9 times out of 10, it might not go through. But that one time it will go through, we'll get Rashford through on goal and he might score from it. So I rate Fernandes for that. He's got the killer pass in his locker from deep, from the 8th position. And he's got Eriksen as well with him. That's the thing United got. They got both Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes who are capable of playing a killer pass. I saw it myself when we played United away from home at the start of the season. They can receive the ball in midfield, turn, and bang, they'll play that pass through. And then your defenders are running back towards their goal. So they've got that in their locker, United, yeah? Rashford, they played him through the middle today. For me, I think he's better on the left. I think Sancho, I know he scored today, Sancho, but I'm not a big fan of him going forward. Anthony, I'll give him time. I think the price tag is way too steep, but I will give the brother time, to be honest. But they need a striker, man. You're looking at the team you played today, Tottenham Hotspur. Get Harry Kane on the phone. Get Harry Kane on the phone and bring him to Old Trafford, man. That's what I would do if I was Manchester United. No more of this persisting with Weghorst. Weghorst is the plan B striker. Anthony Martial, I've never been a big fan of him, to be honest. I think he was all right in his first season. Obviously, a wonder kid coming from Monaco, I believe. But yeah, bro, Anthony Martial is overrated. Like, honestly, one of the most overrated players in the league. He ain't all that. For a team like Manchester United, you need to move on from Anthony Martial, bro. You can't keep persisting with these dead players. So for me, you let him go and you bring in a top striker, Victor Osimhen, Harry Kane, etc. That's the striker you need, a top bagsman. Then for me, you replace the goalkeeper, and United next season will fight for the title. I promise you that. I promise you that, man. They're a really good team. Genuinely, Manchester United are a really good football team. Said this whole season. But just like Arsenal, they haven't quite got the Man City quality to finish teams off. Because if Man City played this game, yeah, I know Man City lost to Tottenham 1-0, right? But if they win the position United win 2-0 up, Man City, I promise you, would have found that third goal and killed that game. Just like they did to Arsenal. Just like they did to Arsenal. So United and Arsenal, both teams that need to be able to find that third goal and need to harness the killer instinct. Because it's missing from both those football clubs. Man City have killer instinct. They have winners mentality. They have assassins. They don't give up until 3-0. Then they take their foot off the gas. Then Haaland comes off the pitch. Man United and Arsenal need to find a killer instinct. They need to find assassins in their team. Assassins that don't stop playing at 2-0, stop playing at 3-0. So yeah, that's my thoughts. The aura is going to Goodison. Maybe so, but look, they need to turn it around big time, Everton, because the drop is impending. They've got a big game against Man City coming up in a few weeks' time at Goodison Park as well. They need to find a result there, man. They need to. Like I said, I believe Leeds and Everton will join Southampton. If Everton get relegated, that is a massive scalp. And look, if Everton do get relegated, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. But one thing I will say, right, yeah? You've been flirting with relegation for an awful long time now. It's been 2-3 seasons now. I believe Everton have been flirting with that relegation. And if you keep playing with matches, you're going to get burnt. It's one of those things. You can't keep flirting with relegation and surviving by the skin of your teeth. You got to, at one point, roll your sleeves up, because otherwise you're eventually gonna drop. You're eventually gonna happen. The law of averages says so. So Everton, it would be a shame for them to go down genuinely, because they are a massive club and they've got a massive fan base. And those fan base don't deserve what they're getting, especially with the owners, one of the worst run clubs in football. But like I said, if you keep flirting with relegation, if you keep flirting around the bottom of the table, not getting results, then you're gonna go down eventually. And if they're going down to Championship, lesson learned, I hope. Lesson learned. The best of 4 clubs in 58th in the table can do is Brighton at 73 points, win out 7 remaining matches. Don't see that happening. United already have 60 points with 6 matches to go. Yeah, top 4 is wrapped up. Top 4 is wrapped up, and genuinely, it is as it is. Like, top 4 is wrapped up, and no team below top 4 deserves to be in the top 4. Liverpool don't deserve it. Brighton maybe, but let's be real, they're not at the quality of Newcastle, Manchester United. Tottenham don't deserve it. Chelsea, by God, they're close to relegation than they are to top 4. So I genuinely think the teams in top 4 right now, Arsenal, City, Newcastle, Man United, deserve it. They've been the 4 best teams in this country. No team can... If any other team gets top 4, it would be a fluke, and it would be them busting case. Genuinely. No other team... Like, if Liverpool somehow manage to get top 4, like some of their fans believe they're going to do so, they don't deserve it. It will be criminal. It will be daylight robbery if they get the top 4 position. The 4 best teams in the country are in the top 4. It should not be a competition. It should not be a race. Top 4 is done. It's wrapped up. It's wrapped up, man. Those are the 4 best teams, the 4 most consistent teams in the country, and the teams that played the best football. They deserve top 4. The race for me is a race for Europa League versus Conference League. So all these Liverpool fans go, oh, we still might get top 4. We beat West Ham yesterday. It ain't happening, man. It ain't happening. You're not consistent enough. You should have had this form earlier on in the season. But you didn't, man. You didn't. That's how it goes. I think Brighton will have a hangover from the FA Cup. Maybe, potentially. I said this yesterday. They shouldn't, because they played well in that game. Like, they lost on penalties. That can happen. Arsenal lost to Sporting Lisbon on penalties, man. Like, penalties is a part of football. Brighton played really well. They've been really good this season. I genuinely think, in terms of footballing sides, Brighton are top 4 in the country. Like, at times better than Newcastle. Definitely top 5. Because Brighton can play football, man. Like, through the lines, Caicedo to McAllister, etc. They're good, man. Genuinely, they're good. I worry for the survival of Everton. I do as well. I genuinely do as well. But let's see what happens, man. Let's see. So much debt could be wound up. It has. And their recruitment's been terrible. They've spent money, but they've spent money poorly, man, for Everton. Very poorly. Relegation battle is the most interesting part of the season now. It is indeed. Title race done, basically. Unfortunately, Champions League spots done, basically. Europa League, Europa Conference League, and relegation. I'll be covering it, of course, on this channel right to the very end, man. Right to the very end. Do you see Isak's assist? I appreciate you tuning into the stream, NH. No, I didn't, but because I was watching the Tottenham United game. But one thing I will say, yeah, Isak is a bad boy striker. That Donny is good, man. Really good player. I remember watching him for Sweden in the Euros, and I thought this brother's a really good player. But I worried about his finishing. I think the rest of his game was quality. Like his link-up play is good. He's got good physicality about him. He understands the game well. But I worried about if he could score goals. But under Eddie Howe at Newcastle, he's done exactly that. He's taken his game to another level. Genuinely to another level. Manchester United could look at Isak, for example. I don't think he'll move. And I think Newcastle done really well to get him. He's a top striker for them, man. Why, oh, why they persisted with playing Callum Wilson for so much of the season is beyond me. I know Isak was injured a lot of the time, but like this brother's a next level, man. Next level, Isak. He's so good, genuinely so good. If he was here from the start of the season, he'd be genuinely one of the better players in the league this season. Such an unsung hero. I've got massive stock on Isak. What a player. Hey, Dennis, appreciate you joining into the stream as always. Malia, great stream. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Isak showed great skill for Newcastle's fourth. Yeah, he's been that player, man. Even against Tottenham last week, he was getting goals. Like, he's involved the player. And he understands the game. I love players that understand the game, man. Because if you understand the game well, even if you don't score goals and create chances, you'll still be an influence. You'll still be a pest. Even if it is the things that no one really looks at. The things that casual football fans understand, like making the right run so that you're able to have other players giving other people the opportunity and giving people space. Whether you're making like decoy runs and stuff like that. IQ footballers do that. So Isak is a player that does that. I can see it with him. I can see a player that trained well and a player that's committed to the grind, man. So yeah, I've got massive stock in Isak. Honestly, I'll be keeping tabs in this game. I like the Newcastle team. Genuinely, I do. Bruno Guimaraes, another player I've got a lot of stock in, man. I rate that guy highly. I've got a lot of faith in this Newcastle team, man. Botman, Shaw, really good defenders. Trippier, of course, he's been around the block. So yeah, this Newcastle team looks good, man. Willock as well. Got to love my boy from the Arsenal, man. So yeah, big up him, man. Fatigued from the fatigued from the cup game. Yeah, potentially if you're Brighton, but it's one of those things, man. One of those things. Even watching Liverpool recently, still never convinced. Yeah, look, this is the thing with Liverpool, right? You're 100% right. I'm watching Liverpool and it's all a bit haphazard. Like even when they got a point against Arsenal, right? That first half was terrible, genuinely terrible. It's not the same Liverpool team we've seen in seasons gone by. Everyone said we're waiting for them to make a run. We're waiting for them to hit form, but we can keep waiting and waiting and waiting, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So have they left it too little, too late? They've got a good couple wins under their belt now, but I think it's too late for Liverpool, man. It's too late for Liverpool. But I think they'll make a bounce back. If they make the right signings, they address the midfield, Liverpool make a bounce back next season. I'm sure of it, man. I'm sure of it. We need Mitoma at Arsenal. Oh, Mitoma's a baller as well, man. Mitoma is a top player, but he ain't going. They gave us Trossard, and they gave us Trossard because they knew Mitoma's going to take over that left wing position. And I think genuinely, Brighton, I think they're going to take the approach now where they're going to try and not sell players. I hear Alexis McAllister's probably going. Liverpool been circling around for him potentially. But I think Brighton going to do the absolute best not to sell players. Because if they want to keep at the top of their game, if they want to keep improving season in season out, they can't keep being a selling club. Eventually, they've got to keep Evan Ferguson, Caicedo, Mitoma, Alexis McAllister, I don't think staying. But you know what I mean? Players like that. They got to keep their real top players, Pascal Gross, Solly March, etc. And if they keep doing that, then they can keep flying up the table because they coach very well. De Zerbi's a top coach, man. I already said that Tottenham should be looking at someone like him. But let's see what they do. Let's see what they do. Mitoma plays on the left. You need the right winger, not a left at the moment. I think we need any winger, to be honest. Any winger. I've got stock in Reece Nelson as a potential right winger to stay at the club as a backup. I'd love Rafael Leao, Kvara if you're Arsenal. I'm looking at players like that. But for me, the main thing we need is we need a defensive midfielder. We need a proper midfielder, man. A backup centre back and a proper midfielder. Do you think Liverpool fans will miss Everton? Yes and no. I think they say, oh, we want Everton relegated, but I think secretly they want the rivalry, right? The Merseyside derby, because let's be real, Liverpool walk Everton nowadays in the Merseyside derby. It's not really a contest. So let's see, man. Let's see what happens. Hi, appreciate you into the stream as always, Luca. I saw yours. I heard you had a stream earlier as well regarding this game, man. So look to tune into that, but I had to start mine as well. Appreciate you into the stream as always. I can't lie, I was watching the small screen. I thought it was Willock or Maximan that provided it. Wasn't expecting it. Yeah, I mean, look. Newcastle keep getting the results, man. Like, they go tough places and they pull out big wins. Brentford the other week, they got a really big win there. Today at Everton, that's a tough ground, man. I bigged up Goodison Park this season, and they got a really good win, man. Really good win. Wilson played today because there's a great record against Everton. Another brace today. Yeah. Wilson, you see, like, Wilson's good, man. And that's the thing. Look, if you got competition, that's what any manager would ask for, right, Jeff? Any manager wants competition, but Isak's a much better player than Wilson, man. Much better player. Also, Wilson had a great performance there. He is bringing it back. Well, let's see. Maybe the competition is helping Wilson. Maybe the fact that he's got Isak breathing down his neck and starting is getting Wilson to buck up his ideas and actually start playing. And that's what you need, man. If you get the competition in there, then you start to see players competing with each other and the performances go up. It's really good, man. It's like Apple versus Samsung. The products keep getting better because they're competing with each other. And who wins? The consumers win, the customers win. And that's what's happening with Newcastle fans right now. With the strikers competing with each other, they're getting better, man. They're getting better. Eddie Howe's really brought the best out of Joe Linton as well. Yeah, Joe Linton in that little role where he drops in and impacts the game from centre mid, really good, because he was looking at one of the worst signings when they bought him as a striker, man. He was not impacting the game whatsoever, was not finishing well, but he's found himself a new position. It's really worked. Liverpool a bit fortunate as wins against Forest and West Ham. Yeah, a little bit, but you need to ride your luck at times in football. I mean, when they played Bournemouth away, they missed a penalty and then they end up losing that game 1-0. So it happens, man. It swings in roundabouts. Danny Welbeck, yeah, but the thing is, Danny Welbeck, right? I'm not going to class him in that bracket with Brighton because he's got on in age now and he's not going to have resale value. The players I was talking about, like the Caicedos, the Alexis McAllisters, the Mitomas, Evan Fergusons, they've got resale value. You know what I mean? Like if you sign players like that, you're going to have to spend a lot of money on them. Danny Welbeck, they're going to keep him because I think he's a good striker. I think Danny Welbeck's a really good striker, but he's not a resale value striker and he's not a top striker around world football. Would you want Tottenham to get relegated? I'd love Tottenham to get relegated, to be honest. I'd love them to get relegated, man. Why not? But genuinely, this season, I want Tottenham to get top 4. It's not happening, but I'd rather they get top 4 than Newcastle or Manchester United. Because let's be real about it, yeah? If Tottenham get top 4, it's not like they do anything. They get top 4 like every other season. They don't really progress with it. If Newcastle gets top 4, that's them progressing with the Champions League money. If United get top 4, that's them progressing as well. So as an Arsenal fan, I'd rather Tottenham get top 4. They ain't going to do nothing with it. That's just my thoughts on it. But yeah, that's out of those 3 teams. Obviously, I'd love Brighton or Brentford to do it, but can't see that happening. Tottenham aren't getting it either, to be honest. So I'm just chatting, really. Then I think the top 4's locked. Also, big up to Sheffield United for getting back to the Prem. Yes, Sheffield United and Burnley back up to the Premier League, man. Done really well. Really, really well. Because Sheffield United were out of the Premier League now for, I want to say, this was their second season in the Championship. Because I know they were in the Premier League, obviously, before, but I think they got relegated in the 2021 season, I want to say. So 2020, 2021. So big up them for coming back. Burnley is one of the companies. He's done a brilliant job there. Really good job. How are you, Luca? How are you, says Luca? I'm doing good, my friend. I'm doing really well. Obviously, I'm fine after the Arsenal game. Don't worry. I've recovered well. A lot of Arsenal fans are still seething, but I'm all right. I'm all right. Isak, Wilson and Joe Linton can easily all be on the pitch at the same time, to be honest. All very versatile. Potentially, but I don't think that suits Newcastle's style. I think Newcastle like playing with the wingers to keep the width. So, like, for example, they had Jacob Murphy against Tottenham. Maximan can get some games. I'm a big fan of Maximan. I just think he needs to clean up on an end product. Newcastle remind me, of a worse version of the Liverpool side under Jurgen Klopp, where they've got a good striker up there, right? They've got a good front three on there. And then that midfield just workhorses like Bruno Guimaraes, Willock, and Sean Longstaff or Joe Ellington, whoever's in there, yeah? That three in midfield, right? None of them are defensive midfielders. None of them are attacking midfielders, but they're all just workhorses. They're all just box-to-box midfielders. It reminds me of the Wijnaldum, Jordan Henderson days at Liverpool, where they'd just be 3 workhorses for that Newcastle midfield that would just run up and down, and provide all the energy and link from defense to attack. Especially Bruno Guimaraes, man. He's been one of the signings of the season from last year, man, when they bought him. What a coup. I wanted Arsenal to get him so badly, but look, he went to Newcastle and hasn't looked back. He's been a top player for them. I agree. Disappointing to see the lineup today without Isak. Did have an impact when he subbed in. Well, there we go, man. There we go. Competition's there. And look, Isak played on the weekend against Tottenham. Now Callum Wilson gets his chance. With the good competition, you got it's only positives. It's only positives. As long as no one sulks on the bench, which they shouldn't do. They shouldn't do. Don't sulk on the bench, man. If your team's winning, don't kick up a fuss, even if you're not getting the game time, man. Keep happy, keep smiling. You'll get game time, I'm sure. Big up to Bournemouth as well. They really turned it around. Won a South Coast derby tonight. Well, big up Bournemouth. I haven't even really checked the Premier League fixtures because I was looking at obviously the Spurs United games. Let me actually see the results of the fixtures today. So I know Newcastle won. I believe it was 4-1. So yeah, Newcastle won 4-1. Bournemouth beat Southampton. Okay, yeah, Southampton are doomed. Southampton are goners. Yeah, this is what annoys me even more as an Arsenal fan. How did we draw to this Southampton team? They just lost at home to Bournemouth. So yeah, Southampton are goners. Bournemouth, big up them. Under Gary O'Neill, they've done a really good job. And Bournemouth are not the biggest club in the world. In fact, they're one of the smallest clubs in the Premier League. But they've trusted their manager and they go about their business very quietly. And that's what I like about them. They just go about their business very quietly. They bring in Gary O'Neill, who's an unproven manager, but he's really got galvanized that squad. They got some big results, man. They beat Tottenham at Tottenham's gaff. They beat Liverpool at home, etc. They were this close to getting something from the Arsenal game. Bournemouth have done really well under Gary O'Neill. Really well, man. I wish him the best. Genuinely, wish him the absolute best. Would you miss an North London derby? Yeah, I would, to be fair. That's why. But if of course I want Tottenham to get relegated, man. Like they're my rivals. I'd love for it to happen. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like the biggest games you want to play in it. But for me as an Arsenal fan, I look forward more to going to Old Trafford than going to Tottenham. I'll be real. I have more of a rivalry than Man United than I do with Tottenham personally. I hate United more than I hate Tottenham as an Arsenal fan. You can call me crazy, but I always look at the Old Trafford games more because I just hate United. The whole club, man. I hate it. Hate it with a passion. I'll still speak positively about them and just review. Any United fans that tune in will hear that I've been very positive. I've been glowing. I've said that United are close to Arsenal and Arsenal are to Man City, in my opinion. So I'll give unbiased standpoint on both these football clubs, both Manchester United and Tottenham. I do believe Manchester United are the biggest club in England, but personally, I just hate United, man. I'm an Arsenal fan. I've got a bigger rivalry than United that I do with Tottenham personally. I'm so happy for company. So glad he's doing well. Hopefully no big club decides to take him. Well, let's see, because Tottenham are floating about for a manager right now. I'd be looking at managers like company. Maybe too soon for company because he's a bit of a one-season wonder. Let's be real about it. Well, right now he's a one-season wonder. He could obviously progress to do good things in the Premier League. But who knows, man? It's a bit of a risk with that one. Southampton had a tying goal reversed by VAR for offside at 89 minutes. Was it rightly ruled offside or wrongly ruled offside? Because I'm not even sure of VAR. For example, yesterday, was that goal even onside for John Stones? I'm not sure. I'm not going to complain about it because we got walked off that park that game. Whether it was 2-0 at halftime, it was going to be 2-0 anyway at some point. So I'm not too sure, to be honest, but who knows? I can relate to the not liking of United. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't like United unless you're a United fan. I think that's what everyone's got in common. Like, only Manchester United fans like United. There's no other club on world football that likes United. Let's be real about it. Let's be completely honest about it. Close but correct. Okay, at least they made the right decision. That's the main thing. But yeah, I do think, to be fair, that when I assess both these clubs, Manchester United and Tottenham, the gulf is there. Like, the gulf is. I know Tottenham really showed up in the second half, but you got your home fans, etc. Like, they had nothing to lose. The pressure was off. Handcuffs were off. Shackles were off. So I'm not really going to assess that as a real them having a proper go at it. If I look at it from a non-biased standpoint, neutral standpoint, if I just look at both teams playing, you can see United are a much better team than Tottenham. Genuinely, they are. Now, Tottenham, if they start playing football on the front foot, they might have something from this game. One thing that really annoyed me about Ryan Mason, is he exhibited exact attributes that Conte has shown, and something I never really associated with Tottenham, is 2-2. They brought the game back from 2-0 to 2-2. They've got the momentum. And what does he do? He takes off Son for Japhet Tanganga. Why is that? Why? Why? You've got the momentum. It's 2-2. If you lose the game, you lose the game. But I'm sure Tottenham fans would rather you take off a defender for a striker than a striker for a defender. When you're 2-0 down and you've got it for 2-2. If United took off a striker for a defender, I'd understand that more. Because they were 2-0 up and they've just brought it back to 2-2. But Spurs, they get the 2 goals to tie the game up. Then they instantly retreat back into their shell and take off Son for Tanganga. It's criminal, man. It's criminal. And I feel for the Tottenham fans because at that point, like momentum is a massive thing in football. I just talked about how teams are vulnerable, right? At that point, United were very vulnerable. For the first 45 minutes of the game, Spurs were extremely vulnerable. And if United had anything about them, they'd put their foot on that neck and they'd crush Spurs 3-4-0 and it would have been game over at half time. But when you bring it back to 2-2, when Son scores that goal, and bear in mind, he should have scored before, Dyer should have scored before, but either way, it's 2-2, there's 15 minutes left. That's when Spurs need to put your foot on the gas and go for the kill because United were vulnerable that period. They were very vulnerable. And you had all the attacks, every 50-50 was going Spurs' way, every second ball was landing at the feet of a Spurs player. Everything was going in their direction. So at that point, you got to go for the third goal, but they didn't. He sat back, man, took off Son for Tanganga and eked it out for a draw. And for me, I think it just goes to show Tottenham, man. Just goes to show Tottenham mentality. I need a complete mentality fix-up. Whoever they bring as their next manager, right? I want them to bring in a forward-thinking manager. A manager that plays on the front foot. No manager that thinks defensively, manager that thinks offensively. That's what I would do because you've had enough of this defensive style, this style of defend before you can attack. Don't concede goals rather than score. No, that's not in Tottenham's DNA, man. I think Company did really well at Anderlecht as well. Not sure though. Yeah, he was like a player manager there. So, and he was the one that actually recommended Lokonga to Arteta, but that kind of fell through. But either way, yeah, look, Company, I think he's an IQ footballer. I can see it because I don't think he was one of the best defenders in terms of like his actual ability. But the reason he was in that Man City side for so long, and the reason he's a Man City legend, is because he was a smart defender. And that's what I always say. Like, for example, someone asked me, do I think Steven Gerrard will be a really good manager the other day? I said, I don't think so because Gerrard, I never saw that guy as a guy that understood football really well. Obviously, he did. He's a top footballer, but Gerrard was technically very good. Like, he'd bang goals from outside the box and it would be amazing. His passes were brilliant. He was a very good, technically gifted footballer. And he had the passion and everything. But in terms of actually understanding the game, I don't see it with Gerrard, like to the likes that I saw with Arteta. Arteta was in the Arsenal team because he understood the game. Arteta was not as technically gifted as Gerrard. He was nowhere near as technically gifted as the other Arsenal players in there, like Cazorla, Wilshere, Ramsey, etc. But the reason Arteta was starting for Arsenal and captain for Arsenal is because he understood the game. He was a leader. He knew when to do certain things, when not to do certain things. He knew when to play the short pass, when to play the long pass. That was why he was in that team. And I didn't see that with Gerrard. With Company, I draw parallels to that because Company, I never saw him as a top defender. Genuinely, I never saw Company as a top defender. But I always understood that his brother understands football and he understands the game. And that's what makes top managers. That is what makes top managers, man. So let's see. I wish him all the best. Personally, I don't care about United. Well, fair enough, man. I mean, I've got to a point now where when I was younger, I used to like just be as biased as possible. I got to a point now where I'm impartial. Like, genuinely, I will sit here and I will give points about United, Tottenham, as if I'm a Tottenham fan. I've been asked sometimes on the stream, am I a Tottenham fan, am I a United fan? And I talk about those clubs because I give so non-biased, impartial viewpoints, sometimes even bigging them up. I'm here talking about United saying, oh, the biggest club in the world, they need to sign these top players like Kane, Osimhen. I get people asking me if I'm a Man United fan, but I just look at it from an impartial standpoint of how you should look at it, I think. Whereas I feel like a lot of other people, when they talk about other clubs, they do it with a tinted lens, which fair enough, man. Like, at least they make their bias apparent. I try to be as non-biased as possible when I talk about other clubs. When I talk about Arsenal, I'll be biased because that's my club. At times, I obviously say I'm giving non-biased standpoint. But when I talk about other clubs, always try to be as non-biased as possible. Put myself in their shoes. I live in North London, right? So I know as many Tottenham fans, I know Arsenal fans. So I've been around them a long time. How are you doing well, Luke, man? Sky Sports title, Saints slide towards relegation. That's what I don't think it's much of a slide. I think it's more of a nosedive, to be honest. They're diving towards relegation. Let's be real about it. Less of the slide, more of the dive. But who knows, man? Who knows? Anything can happen in football. Happy with the point says it all. Exactly. And look, a point for Tottenham doesn't do anything. So you might as well risk it and go for the win. You may as well, because a point doesn't do much. Maybe you can say a little bit of confidence back because you didn't lose the game. But for me, I think you go with foot on the neck, man. If you lose that game 3-2, so be it. At least the fans will have seen an entertaining game where their team attacked and tried to go for the winner. That's what I would rather see if I'm a Tottenham fan. But look, the fans have been starved of good football for, it feels like 4 or 5 seasons now at Tottenham. Ever since Pochettino left, Tottenham have had defensive manager after defensive manager after defensive manager and been starved of any sort of quality football. And it's sad to see, genuinely, because I'm not an Arsenal fan. I'm not a Tottenham fan. I'm an Arsenal fan. So obviously I don't like Tottenham. But one thing I always respected Tottenham under Pochettino was I like the way they approached the game. I thought they had a really good style of football. They weren't going to pass you out the park like Man City under Pep Guardiola, but they equally, they weren't bad at football. They had a really good balance. Under the Pochettino days, with the Moussa Dembélés, the Wanyama's in midfield, Dele Alli at cam, like the 2016-17 Tottenham team, even the season before when they just got pipped to Leicester by the title, just got pipped by Leicester for the title, sorry. That Tottenham team was really good. Like, I like their balance between defense and attack. Obviously, had the bricks, the Belgian bricks, Alderweireld and Vertonghen in defense as well. They had a really good balance to their team. They were efficient. They were forward thinking. They'd go into games thinking they're going to get results and play on the front foot, but equally defend compactly and well. That was a really good Tottenham team, a really good balance to them. The Tottenham team now is a shadow of that team. And bear in mind, they've got Harry Kane, who's got better from those times. Like, Harry Kane's a top striker now, man. He's really adapted and improved his game. But Spurs as a whole, they haven't adapted and improved their club. And that's the most alarming thing. And that's why any Tottenham fan that wants Levy out, Enoch out, Joe Lewis, etc., fair play, man, fair play. I don't blame you one bit. But one thing I will say is it's not just the owners. If you bring in another owner, unless you hit gold and get Qatari or Saudi Arabian owners that have got money for days, that ain't going to fix all your problems. You start with the manager, man. For me, because look, the owner doesn't kick a ball, the owner doesn't make tactics, the owner doesn't even sign players. The manager does all that along with his staff. So you're bringing the right manager in there. You bring the manager. Me, Roberto De Zerbi, if he goes, you try and source him. Michael Carrick, maybe. Company, maybe. The young Sporting Lisbon manager. Thomas Frank. What are some other names floating about? Julian Nagelsmann. Young, forward-thinking, fresh managers. That's who you should get if you're Tottenham, man. Managers not afraid to take risks. And then from there, you sign some managers that you want. You sign some players that fits his needs. You start to play forward-thinking 4 at the back football. None of this 5 at the back you've been running under Espirito Santo, Mourinho, Conte, Stellini, Ryan Mason, etc. Forward-thinking football. You start attacking teams, and who knows what can happen. Because, look, Tottenham have got too much attacking firepower up front in Harry Kane and Son, who last season was talked about as one of the best strike forces in the world. Like, Son got tied for the Golden Boot win alongside Salah, and he scored 0 from penalties. It was all from open play. That strike force was liquid. It doesn't fall off overnight. You don't become dead overnight. So the style of play is criminal to not be suited to their needs. You need to be playing, for me, forward-thinking football, 4 at the back. You play Kane, Son, Kulusevski as your front 3, and you attack, man. You attack. A 4-3-3 if you're Tottenham, and you play to win the game. You don't play not to lose the game. That's what you do if you're Tottenham for me, man. Obviously, for Tottenham, I'm going to do keep bench sell for Tottenham coming up. I'm going to do one for every club, by the way. Any Tottenham fans, hit me up in my DMs, Twitter, whatever, etc. I've got my links to my socials because I want to bring the Tottenham fans to do it as well. because obviously I'm an Arsenal fan, so they might think I'm a little bit biased. So if you know any Tottenham fans, anyone knows any Tottenham fans, someone's reach out to me because I want to do a keep, bench, sell Tottenham edition with word. I think it's going to be a really interesting one to see who they should keep, who they should bench, they should sell, etc. Because they need a massive clear out at football club, genuinely a massive clear out. Because there's too many players that have overstayed their welcome. But the structure's there for Tottenham. The structure's there. It just needs to be rebuilt. I'm rebuilt well, to be fair, like rebuilt from the ground up, the foundations. So let's see what happens with Tottenham, man. Let's see. Man United aren't the biggest club in the world. Okay, yeah, they're not. They're the biggest club in England, though. It goes for, it's Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United, Liverpool, Bayern Munich. That's my top 5. AC Milan 6. But yeah, Man United are the biggest club in England. Let me refine that. Tottenham had the chance to win trophies but didn't capitalize. Agree. So what I would say is, right, Tottenham did have a chance to win trophies. You're 100% right, but it happens. There's only 4 trophies to win every season. What happened is they lost their composure. Daniel Levy especially, right? They came so close to win the trophy under Pochettino in the Champions League. They came so close to win the title in 2016. It didn't happen, and he lost composure. He then decided, oh, look, this team's this close to winning the league. Let me just sign a manager that's good at winning titles and will win titles. But what he didn't realize is, to win a title, right, you either got to have the budget, like Pep Guardiola, play beautiful football, like Pep Guardiola does at Man City, or you do the complete opposite and you basically just try to win a title and sacrifice all entertaining football just to win games. And so what did he do? He thought, you know what? Mourinho in first. Can he win us a title? No. Espirito Santo. Maybe we need that. Bring the DNA back. Criminal signing, by the way. I heard they interviewed Eric Ten Hag, for example. How they interviewed Eric Ten Hag but land on Nuno Espirito Santo is beyond me. That is criminal. And then he goes, you know what? Last throw of the dice. Let's go for Antonio Conte. Another serial winner. Fell through again. So they sacrificed a good football to try and win a trophy. And it's backfired. Look, I always say, focus on the inputs and the outputs will take care of themselves, man. The outputs will take care of themselves. And what did Tottenham Hotspur do? They worried about the outputs. They focused too much on winning a trophy and sacrificed what got them to the position that was a Champions League final and what got them to the position of almost winning the league title in 2016. And that was playing the good football, playing efficient football, utilizing the academy, using young players, really galvanizing the squad and having a team that's forward thinking and playing attacking football. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that, man. Instead, they went to try and sign a manager that they think is going to bring them instant success in Mourinho, Conte, and basically sabotage everything that got them to this position. And look, that's the way of the world, man. If they went on to win the Carabao Cup, if they went on to win something under Conte and Mourinho, we'd all look at it and say it's a masterstroke. But they didn't. And that's the risk they had to take, and it's backfired. And now Levy's been asked to leave every game from Tottenham fans. They want Enoch out. They want a new manager in, and the club's in a shambles. And what the icing on the cake is the fact that they look across the road and they see Arsenal thriving. So that's what's going to hurt even more for Tottenham fans, man. That's what's going to hurt even more for Tottenham fans. Because less than 12 months ago, when Tottenham won 3-0 against Arsenal this time last year, everyone was thinking Tottenham on the way up, Arsenal on the way down. And it's been a complete switch around. So look, that's the way it goes for Tottenham, man. They got to try and bring the manager who's going to reestablish everything. And they got to start from the ground up. Got to rip it all up and start again. But like I said, the structure of Tottenham is still a big club, man. They've got a beautiful stadium. I've been there myself. Beautiful, beautiful stadium. They've got the fan base. They've got a loyal fan base, man. I've been through that team. I've been with that team through thick and thin. They got to make sure they're bringing the right manager and get a manager that can unite the crowd with the team. That's the main thing for me. Because when Arteta came in the door at Arsenal, right, there was a lot of toxicity at the football club. It's fresh off Arsene Wenger's last seasons, fresh off the Unai Emery disaster class towards the end of that season as well. And what Arteta, his first port of call was, he wanted to build a team that could unite with the fan base and get the fan base on side. Because if the fan base and the team are divided, and if there's a disconnection, that doesn't spell any sign of good things. Genuinely, that's a bad sign. So you've got to make sure you connect the fan base with the crowd. Sorry, you've got to connect the fan base with the team. The crowd needs to be on the team side. They need to be going to games excited. No one goes to Tottenham games excited anymore. That's just my thoughts on it, to be fair. So look, let's see what happens. United, the thing with Tottenham is, though, they've still got life. If they bring it back, they turn it around, they can. But if they keep playing like this, they're going to slip further and further behind. And teams like Newcastle, Brighton, Brentford will start to overtake them. That's just my thoughts on it. For me, I always talk on an unbiased standpoint, no matter which team it is. But if I say something negative about a club, I get told I have an agenda. I was told that by Arsenal, United, and LFC fans. Well, yeah, but certain fans just have that standpoint, C1, where they just don't want to hear negative stuff from other fans. I've been on Twitter all day, and Arsenal fans saying, "Oh, don't call us bottlers when you're not even in a top 4 race. Don't call us bottlers when our team's in 5th, 6th." Bro, if they're a United fan, if they're a Spurs fan, if they're a Chelsea fan calling us bottlers, you just take it. Like, I'm not going to sit there and go, "Oh, look at where your club is." I'm going to say, "Yeah, we did. Like, I'm not a deflect merchant. If they're talking about my club, I'll respond with response about my club. Weak football fans go, oh, but look at your club. What are your club doing? Yeah, you've asked me about Arsenal. I'll talk about Arsenal. Then when we talk about Chelsea, feel free. I'll talk about how you stunk this season, etc. But if someone goes to me, if a rival fan goes, oh, Arsenal bottled it this season, I go, yeah, we have, man. But we'll bounce back next season. That's how it is. I don't sit there and go, oh, but where's your club finishing? Like, because I think that's just a weak-minded thing to do. Genuinely, that's just my opinion on it, man. Just my opinion on it. Get Lily White Lane on. That's the name of his channel. Okay, let me search up Lily White Lane. I'll see if I'll reach out to him. Lily White Lane, YouTuber, yeah? Independent Tottenham Hotspur fan channel made by passionate fans. Yeah, I'll reach out. I'll reach out to him and see if I can get him related to do Tottenham related content. Yeah, good idea. I'll reach out to him and see if I can do a keep bench sell with him, because I want to get fans from other clubs on this page because obviously I give unbiased standpoint. I watch a lot of football. Genuinely, I watch a lot of football. So I think I'm very informed about a lot of clubs in this league. A lot of clubs. But obviously, I'm never going to be as informed as or I'm never going to have the same feelings that the fan has. Like, me talking about Tottenham and United and having my opinions on where that club should go is very different to how a Tottenham fan's got opinion on how their club should go, for example. I can say all I want about how I believe the direction Tottenham should go in, but majority of Tottenham fans will go, oh, you're an Arsenal fan. What do you know about what Tottenham should do? Oh, you want us to lose? Yeah, obviously I want you to lose, but when I give my opinions, I'm not sabotaging you on my opinions. I'm giving you the genuine opinion that I believe will bring Tottenham back to success. I say back to success. They haven't won double since 61 or something. You know what I mean? Like, bring Tottenham to the success that they crave. And for me, that is bringing a young, exciting manager, just like Pochettino. Don't bring in Pochettino, which I think is a blessing in disguise that Chelsea have brought in Pochettino, to be honest. Because I think if Tottenham went for Pochettino, that would have been a bad move. Don't go back to the Pochettino again. Start again. Start fresh. Brand new young manager and build a project and guarantee him 2-3 years. Unless you get relegated, unless the performances are that bad that it's genuinely like crisis time, just give the manager some faith, give him 3 years, back him, get him to integrate the academy and go from there for Tottenham, because it can't be worse than this. It genuinely can't be worse than this. I promise you, if Tottenham are finishing 7th or 8th this season, yeah, something like that, playing terrible football, it would have been the worst season for Tottenham fans in God knows how long. God knows how long, yeah? Definitely, I think in probably my lifetime, in terms of the quality of football, in terms of the expectation and how flat it's fallen. So if they bring in a Nax manager, yeah? If they bring in a young manager, not established manager, like a young forward-thinking manager, right? And they play good football, even if they lose games, so they play really entertaining football and they finish 8th or 9th again, is that as bad as finishing 8th or 9th or 7th playing dead football? I'd rather play entertaining football. At least you can see a vision. At least you can see an upward trajectory. So let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. Tottenham nearly won in 2016 and 17. Yeah, exactly. Nearly won. Look, that team with Dembele, Wanyama, and Dele Alli in midfield, cold, man, cold. The Belgian bricks at the back, man, in Alderweireld and Vertonghen. It was a well-structured, well-oiled machine, man. A really good team. Genuinely, a really good team. And it took them only so far. Man. And yeah, you missed out on a trophy, but look, this Arsenal team's been brilliant this season. We're not going to win a trophy this year, it doesn't look like. Does that mean this Arsenal team's terrible? Does that mean we should sack Arteta and go for Ancelotti? Some fans will think so. I know Luca, for example, really wants Arsenal to get Ancelotti or someone. But for me, that would be just like what Tottenham do. If Arsenal sack Arteta and go for someone like Ancelotti or someone like Mourinho, that's exactly what Tottenham did, yeah? They basically surrendered the whole process and got into this position and went for manager that's going to win them trophies, and it backfires and you go back into the Stone Age again. Arsenal will do the same thing. If Arsenal bring in a manager like Ancelotti, for example, we could win a trophy, or it could backfire terribly and we go back to where we started and the whole process goes to the end. So look, with Arteta at Arsenal, it's a slow crawl. Yeah, it's gone quicker than I expected and it is progress. And to be fair, I saw a really good tweet today, and it was actually from Piers Morgan, someone I never really agree with, made a brilliant tweet. Is this season a success for Arsenal if we don't win the league? No, but it is progress. It is progress, and that's the main thing. If fans can see you progressing, like fans can see light at the end of the tunnel, they will back a team. If you finish 7th, but they saw light at the end of the tunnel and they see a team that's gelling and moving in the right direction, they will back that team. Genuinely, they will. And Tottenham need that, because right now the fans don't back this team because the fans don't see the vision. The fans don't see the process. The fans don't trust it. And that's when you got a problem, because the fans need to trust the process at the end of the day, man. And I feel like the majority of us fans, the vast majority, apart from a select few, trust this Arteta process. And we're all behind him. So let's see what happens with Tottenham, man. Let's see what happens. Newcastle replace Tottenham in this made-up top 6 thing. Yeah, in the big 6, I can see that in a few years' time. I genuinely can. That's what I'm saying. While Tottenham have still got some life, bring in a credible manager. Well, you still got bloody hell, fly just ran across, flew across the webcam. But yeah, while they've still got some life, bring in a young, entertaining manager. That's what I would say if you're Tottenham. Young, entertaining manager, because you might get to a point where you'll not be able to pull off these managers, and then it becomes a lottery. Because Brighton getting De Zerbi, right? De Zerbi wasn't even on my radar. I think it was Sassuolo manager in Serie A, yeah? What a coup to bring him in. What a coup to bring him in, yeah? But if you could go really badly. While Tottenham still got some credibility, and they will have credibility for a long time now because they're built up, they've got a massive stadium, big fan base, etc., London club. They've got the credibility with them. Bringing a young, entertaining manager, Sporting Lisbon's young manager, for example. Why not, man? Why not? It can't be worse than all these serial winners. It can't be worse than that. So Arsenal challenge again, it's not a disaster. Only time will tell. Yes, my thing is, right, reason I'm so annoyed about Arsenal is we capitulated the league because we lost to teams like West Ham and Southampton. A. B, I know next season we might be good as well, but Man City will get better because this majority of the season, Man City were experimenting. The reason I thought Arsenal were going to win the league, right, is because I watched a lot of football this season, right? And Man City, they were crap. Like, okay, they weren't crap, but like they were nowhere near their best. Like this Man City team right now is solid. Like it's wicked. Basically, since March, they've taken this thing seriously. Before March, yeah, these lot were crap. They were playing Bernardo Silva left back. They were playing Cancelo some games. They're playing Rico Lewis as well. They weren't fluid at all. Like Man City looked vulnerable in the majority of games I watched them play, especially away from home. So I was sitting there thinking, you know what? Yeah, Man City looked vulnerable for once. United are good, but they've made too many mistakes in the season to really catch up to us. Newcastle look good, but Newcastle's still early in their process. Tottenham are crap. Liverpool crap. Chelsea are crap. Brighton and stuff have got better, but they're not challenging for the league. It's Arsenal to lose. That's what I assessed that at like January time. I assessed it. I looked at it and I thought, hang on a minute, right? Every team's crap. Every team's underachieving other than Arsenal, and the teams overachieving are not overachieving to a point where they can win the league. So it was set up for Arsenal to win the league, and that's what really pains me because next season I expect Chelsea to come back in some capacity. Whether it's challenging for a title, I'm not sure, but I expect Chelsea to come back with the right manager. Liverpool to bounce back because we've seen them do it before under Jurgen Klopp. City will get better. United will challenge for a title if they make the right signings in summer, which I expect them to do so, given they are Manchester United. And then you're looking at it, it's potentially a 5-6 horse race. Newcastle as well, let's not forget them. They'll sign some big players in the summer. Then it comes a point where it's a 5-6 horse race before the season starts. Obviously, it won't turn out like that. It will normally turn to a 2 or 3 horse race. But who knows, man? Who knows? Like I said, I rate the progress Arsenal made, but it's not a success. Because I made this analogy yesterday, right? If your target at the start of the season is a B, your teachers predict you to get a B in maths, yet the whole year you've been getting A star in every mock test, every assessment, etc. Then when you open up that GCSE result at the end, you open up that envelope and you see a B. Will you be happy or sad? For me, I'd be sad because I've been getting A stars all year. I know at the start I wanted the B, but we're getting A stars all year. That's how I'd look at it if you're Arsenal. The start I won in top 4, but how the season panned out, you got to adapt, man. You got to adapt. And we didn't, man. We didn't. That's my thing about it. It's crazy how everyone thinks the league is done now. You know what? It's not done because, you know what the funny thing is, yeah? If Arsenal were 2 points behind Man City, yeah, and had 2 games in hand, everyone would still go City are favourites. It's because of the reputation Man City have built up and the negative reputation Arsenal built up. That's why everyone thinks the league is done. Because Man City have built up such a positive reputation over the past 6 seasons with Pep Guardiola that no one expects them to falter. No one expects them to fold or capitulate or bottle it. They're not bottlers. They're killers. They're assassins in that Man City squad. Arsenal, on the other hand, are bottlers. We haven't shown that we can win league titles. And that's why everyone expects it to be over. Everyone goes, as soon as Man City overtake Arsenal, league's done. League's done. Because they're that good. They're that good, man. Once they get purring, once the wheels start moving, they go up the gears, then it's a long day for every team challenging. Liverpool saw it themselves, man. Liverpool did better. Liverpool from the past few seasons are better than this Arsenal team. At least they competed with Man City. At least Liverpool, yeah, when Man City were at their best, competed. Because let's not forget about it. If Man City played like they've been playing March and April from the start of the season, there would not be a title race. Genuinely, there wouldn't. Like, Arsenal have had a good season, but Man City can hit 90, 95 points consistently, like 99 points seasons. This season, they might not even hit 90. So it just goes to show, right, that Man City have not been at the races this season. I expect them to get better next season. So let's see, man. Let's see. I always say to these people who go, enjoy 11th. I go, hold on, I'm not allowed an opinion on Arsenal. Why not? These people actually have a weak mindset like we're talking about Arsenal now. Exactly, C1, yeah? So when I'm talking about Arsenal, you give me your thoughts on Arsenal, I'm not going to discredit it. I'm not going to say, oh, but your team's 11th. Why are you talking? Because we're here to talk about football, man. What, just because my team's 11th doesn't mean I have a valid opinion or something? Like, I don't get those people. So yeah, don't listen to people like that. You've always got opinion here on this channel, man. That's what I always say. Don't care if you sport. Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, Southampton in 20th, United, Liverpool, Real Madrid. Whatever team you support, you've always got opinion here, man. I'll always listen to it. No matter if you're talking about Arsenal or any other club. Obviously, I'll give my opinion if I think the opinion is right or not. But you're always entitled to your opinion. Obviously, I've got my opinion on whether I believe you're correct or not. But just like you lot would have an opinion on if I'm correct or not. It's one of those things.
Not about any other club. Yeah. And when we start talking about Chelsea, I'll have all the time in the world to say whatever I want about that club, man. And it won't be positive. It won't be positive. It's relative to the club. Exactly. 11th is great for Crystal Palace. No offense. Yeah, exactly. I think you're right. It's relative to the club. Chelsea should nowhere near be 11th. Chelsea, with the money they've spent, with the reputation they've built up in recent seasons, should be challenging for titles. They should be. And that fan base wants titles because the majority of that fan base, especially the young fan base, would have only known titles under Abramovich. I saw a stat the other day, right, that said, since Liverpool had Jurgen Klopp, right, everyone goes, oh, it's been a brilliant time for Liverpool with Jurgen Klopp. Chelsea have won every single title Liverpool won, plus the Europa League, in the same time that Liverpool have had Jurgen Klopp. So it just goes to show that Chelsea are born and bred winners. I'm not going to, bro, Chelsea win. That's what they do. Yeah, I don't necessarily love the way they're so ruthless and they don't give managers any time and their shelf life is, like, it's basically, it's a perishable football club. It's a perishable football club. But I will never discredit the fact that that team wins and that team's ruthless and they've got that mentality about them. That's what I've always, envied about Chelsea. They've got that killer instinct to get rid of a manager, be ruthless, get results. If you're not good enough, you go. That's what I've always envied. And it gives them results, man. Like Chelsea in Europe get results. Chelsea in the Premier League, they win Prems, they win trophies. So it's only a matter of time before they turn it around. They've got bought in Todd Boehly, and if Todd Boehly starts just giving his checkbook and stops worrying about actually dealing with football, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. As long as the money keeps coming in, the club will turn around. They just need to make the right appointments because they've got too much money for it to fail, in my opinion, man. Bringing the right manager, it looks like it's going to be Pochettino. Not who I believe they should bring in, to be fair. Not who I believe they should bring in. But look, I would have preferred Enrique, but Pochettino can do a job, maybe. Let's see. Pochettino is more of a project manager. Arguably, for me, the ironic thing is I wouldn't want Pochettino. I think Pochettino is the wrong manager for Chelsea and Tottenham. I think neither should have got him, to be honest. I think neither team should have gone for Pochettino. That's just my thoughts on it. I think Pochettino is a project manager, but not a project manager Tottenham should go for because they already had him. They should have gone for someone different, try something new. And Chelsea need a born and bred winner. They need a winner right now. So both teams are looking for a manager. Neither team should go for Pochettino. Chelsea look like they're going to land on Pochettino. Let's see what happens, man. I wish them the best. Also do well to get a point at St James's Park. Yes, but a point's not enough. We need to win. For Arsenal to win a title, which I don't think is happening, the only way we've got is if we win every game from now to the end of the season. We can beat Newcastle. It depends what Arsenal turn up. If the Arsenal turns up like yesterday, we ain't beating Newcastle. We ain't getting a point. If the Arsenal turns up to Newcastle, that turn up in the first half at Anfield, the Arsenal turn up to Brentford, the Arsenal turn up to Fulham, to White Hart Lane, we can beat Newcastle because if Newcastle St James's Park, yeah, they try and play football and they've done really well. They played United out of the park, they played Tottenham out of the park. But if they try and play football with Arsenal, they will lose because Arsenal are a better footballing team than Tottenham. Sorry, a better footballing team than Tottenham and Man United and a better footballing team than Newcastle. So Newcastle got to go to Arsenal, and the way they're going to win that football match is they're going to have the crowd on their side, and they're going to press, and they're going to be intense. And they're not going to give Arsenal a second of life. If they run more than Arsenal, they'll win that game. That's how I look at it. If they give Arsenal the time and space and let Arsenal pop the ball about, Arsenal will win that football match at St James's Park. I don't care how bad we are, provided Arsenal play that I've seen them play this season. But if Newcastle come with intensity, Arsenal show that they fold in big moments. When a little bit of pressure comes on their shoulders, when they see a team that's going to run, when they see a team that's going to fight, when they see a team that doesn't back down and cave and play a low block, Arsenal they're going to fold. That's what the evidence has shown this season. So let's see, man. Let's see what happens. I wonder how well Newcastle will do in the UEFA Champions League. Me as well, man. Me as well. I'm really excited to see. Really excited to see what happens. Fascinating transfer when they come up for the tsunami. Yes, this summer is going to be absolutely brilliant. I can't wait. I'm going to be covering a lot, man. Last summer transfer window, last January, I only covered Arsenal transfer news. This summer, I'm covering all transfer news, man, for the big teams. All transfer news for any sort of big movements. I'm there to cover it. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing live streams or videos, but I'll be thinking of what to do. There's lots in the pipeline. That's the main thing. But yeah, I'm going to start to wrap up this stream as it comes up to an hour long. My next stream will be Saturday, maybe. Is there a game on? I don't know. What's the Premier League fixtures? Is there even football on Saturday? Definitely there'll be a stream on Sunday. Sunday will be bumper streams because there'll be like 3 matches on Sunday or 2 matches on Sunday. Okay, so the fixtures are Crystal Palace, West Ham. Probably won't do a stream for that. I can't lie. Brighton, Wolves, no. Brentford, Nottingham Forest, no. United. Okay, so Saturday probably won't be a stream. I can't lie to you lot. Probably not. Sunday, stream Fulham Man City stream and a Liverpool Tottenham stream. So 2 streams on Sunday. Fulham Man City, Liverpool Tottenham. I'm not going to do a stream Monday because I've got an exam on Tuesday. But after exam on Tuesday, stream Arsenal Chelsea or 10 p.m. So that'll be my stream schedule. Those are the next games I'm going to cover. I may do the 12:30 kickoff tomorrow. It depends. I might have that game on in the background. I've got some stuff to do tomorrow. But let's see. If Villa gets Europe, I'll try and go to games. I'm near Coventry right now. Well, yeah, Villa might get Europe, man. I'm banking on Villa potentially getting Europe. The momentum's with them. They're playing good football under Unai Emery. Let's see what happens. If Coventry gets promoted, I'll attend games. Coventry as well could get promoted. I think the Championship player is going to be really exciting. I can't wait to see that as well. Of course, I'll be covering that on my channel. Good luck with the exam, bro. I appreciate it. I've got exam Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the Tuesday after. So 4 exams in a week. So the content will be a little bit thin during those times, but I'll still cover the big matches, hopefully. Just Tuesday night, I'm covering the Arsenal game. I don't know if I'll be able to cover the Wednesday game and the Thursday game. I believe Man United play on the Thursday and Man City play on the Wednesday, or it's the other way around. Or they're both playing Wednesday. I can't remember. But either way, the content, of course, will keep coming, but I might miss out some days. Got to check out my community tab on YouTube to see the games I'm planning to stream and the games that I won't be streaming. That's where you got to check it out. But yeah, I appreciate everyone tuning to the stream. As always, my next stream will hopefully be Sunday, maybe tomorrow, the 12:30 kickoff. I'm not too sure. Make sure you subscribe and hit bell notifications so you never miss a stream. So if I do decide to post one or not, you'll always be informed. But yeah, I appreciate everyone tuning in. Make sure you like the video if you're around here so the video goes out to more people. If you're watching this after the stream's done as a video, let me know in the comment section your thoughts on the game. I guess I'll conclude with the match in the fact that I will say it was a game of 2 halves. Tottenham only came to play football in the second half. Man United could have punished them, but it's Groundhog Day for them. Just like what happened to Sevilla, happened again today. 2-0 lead, but let it slip away. It's been the story of Arsenal and United in recent weeks. It's a draw that doesn't really do much for the table. I still expect United to get top 4. I still expect Tottenham to miss out on Europe. But who knows, man? Who knows? Take care, bro. I appreciate it, Tommy. City Wednesday, United Thursday. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to cover both those games just because I've got a test the day after, which is a bit of a shame because I would have loved to cover both those games. But it's one of those things, man. It's one of those things. I'll be back with the football obviously on the weekend as well. Massive Sunday coming up. I'll tell you right now, yeah. Not this Sunday. The Sunday after. What Sunday is it? Yeah. Okay. 6th of May. Set your notifications. Newcastle, Arsenal, and West Ham, Manchester United. Both those games will be covered on this channel. Even the Saturday, set your notifications, man. We got Man City Leeds at 3 p.m. We got Liverpool Brentford at 5:30. The weekends is where I cash in, man. Cash in with those streams. But yeah, it's one of those things. But I appreciate everyone tuning in as always with the streams. I love to see all you lot with your thoughts in the live chat, and I hope to see you all in my next stream. If anyone's just joined in now, make sure A, you subscribe if you enjoy the content, and B, scroll right back to the start of the stream so you can hear my thoughts on the game as well as everyone else's thoughts in the live chat as well. I've been wonderful and hope to see you all in my next one.